Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to your very first step in becoming a regular expression ninja. Now, before we start, I'm going to put it out there. Regular expressions are a part of coding that a lot of programmers don't particularly enjoy, and in some cases just outright avoid. And I don't blame them. It can be a boring as hell and cumbersome topic, but nonetheless, it is a very, very important one. How many times have you been on
Hello everyone, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about regular expressions, and I'm going to be going in depth covering everything you need to know about regular expressions. Hello everyone, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about regular expressions, and I'm going to be going in depth covering everything you need to know about regular expressions. This includes the simple stuff such as matchers, digit selectors, and so on, all the way up to more advanced features such as capture groups, negative look ahead, positive look ahead, and so on. So let's get started now. Welcome back to Web Dev Simplified. My name's Kyle, and my job is to simplify the web for you so you can start building your dream project sooner. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. And now to get started, I'm on a website here which really helps with regular expressions. I'm going to link it down in the description below so you can go to the same website. But it's really useful because it highlights inside of the text you're searching for what your regular expression actually matches, and it gives you details on every single thing that the regular expression is doing. It's great for practicing and testing out regular expressions, so I highly recommend you go down to the link in the description and follow along on this site. And now to get started, I first want to explain what regular expressions are. And essentially, a regular expression is a way to search through a string of text. So we have this text in here, and at the top we have a regular expression. And what that regular expression allows us to do is it allows us to search through that text in order to do things such as validation or get certain pieces of the text. We can do advanced find and replace. There's a ton of things that you can do with regular expression, but in general, all that regular expression is doing is it allows you to search through text in a really advanced way and even group those different searches together so you can do powerful things such as find and replace with it. So to get started, I kind of want to break down the format of a regular expression. As you can see up here, we have our regular expression, and in the middle here, we have our text we're searching. And a regular expression is almost always going to start with this opening slash here, this forward slash, and it's going to end with a forward slash as well. A lot of programming languages, when you define regular expressions, instead of defining them in sort of string quotations, you define them inside of these forward slashes, so everything between the forward slashes is going to be your regular expression. Then also something that's a part of a regular expression is the part after the forward slash here at the end. These are the different flags, and as you can see, we can access these flags up here. And the main ones that you need to know about is global. This allows you to match anywhere in the string. For example, if we did @ here, you can see that it matched all three of the different ats. That's because we have global. It allows it to do multiple matches. But if we take global off, it's only going to match the first result that we find. So essentially global is like match all, while without global is like match one. Next, we have case insensitive. So for example, if I put the with a capital TH here, and then if I make this global, you can see it's matching both of these thes, and that's because I have case insensitive turned on. If I turn that off, it's only going to match the that is capitalized, and if we change this to a lowercase, it's only going to match the lowercase one. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to leave us on the global flag with case sensitivity, so that way capitals actually make a difference. And that's just because this is the most general configuration that you're going to use when messing with regular expressions. And to get started, as you can see, this works very much like a normal find. If I type information into here, whatever I type is going to be searched for in this string down here. For example, I can search for fat, and I'm just going to get the word fat. I can do ran, and so on. And it works just like normal find and replace, which is not really that powerful. But where it does become powerful is when you can actually start adding in the regular expression things. And the very first one that I want to talk about is the idea of these different special characters that allow you to do certain things. So for example, we can search for the character E, and you can see we get every single E inside of our search. But what if we wanted to search for a string of E's, so multiple E's in a row? We could put E, and then we could put a plus. And what this is saying is it's saying match E, but we want to match at least one. This is one or more of the preceding token. So we're saying match E or more than one E. So as you can see, we have this E being matched, this E, but this is actually matching both of our E's because there's two E's in a row. And the plus is just saying match as many in a row as you can, but match at least one. And then another character that we can do, for example, we can put an A in here, and we can put a question mark, and that's saying that this is optional. So optionally, I want to get this A character. So here we have EA, so it's going to get the character E, as you can see in all of these, and then if there's an A, it's also going to match that. So this question mark says 0 or 1. I like to think of it as whatever is before it is optional. So in our case, our A is optional, and wherever there's an A after an E, it's matching it. But in the case where there's no A after the E, it's just completely ignoring it. The next one that I want to talk about is going to be here, the star indicator. And the star indicator essentially says match 0 or more. So it's kind of like a combination of the question mark and the plus. It's saying that it's optional, but you can match as many as possible in a row. So when we can see this is if we do R, E, and then star, you can see it's matching anything in here that is an R, and then it matches all of the E's that follow it if there are any, and if not, it just matches the R itself. Another special character that's really important is the period character. And the idea of the period character is that it matches literally anything at all. So as you can see here, we put the period and it's matching the F, the C, and the E. It doesn't matter, it'll match anything except for a new line. It won't match a new line, so we have a new line right here. And if, for example, we wanted to search for T, and then we wanted to search for period, and we wanted to search for another period, you can see that it's not actually wrapping the new line because period can't match a new line. Also, you may notice that we want to search for a period, for example. How do we find all of the periods? We can use here the backslash and then the period. And what the backslash allows us to do is just cancel out anything that comes after it. It essentially escapes it. So since we have the special character period after it, it's saying treat this as a normal period and not as the special wildcard period that matches everything. And as you can see, we're able to match any of our periods. And if we wanted to say, let's match any character that comes before it, we could just put a period, and now we're matching any character that comes before a period as well as the period. Another really important special character that we can actually use here is going to be the /W, and this is saying match any word character. So this is going to be things like letters. As you can see here, it's matching every single letter in our list. Also, there's the /S. This is going to match any form of white space that there is. And the nice thing is these have negative versions. So capital S is going to match anything that's not a white space. Capital W matches anything that's not a character, such as these letters here. And let's say we wanted to capture all of the words that are longer than 4 characters long. Well, we can't use the plus, we can't use the star. These don't actually work. But what we can do is inside of curly braces, we can put a minimum and a maximum number for how large we want something. So for example, let's say we wanted to get all the words that are over 4 characters. We could say 4, and this is going to get us any 4 digits in a row. And if we put a comma, it's going to say get any 4 digits or more. If you wanted to get 4 to 5 characters, we would say 4 to 5, and it's going to match any set of characters that are between 4 and 5 long. And that right there is pretty much the majority of all of your counting selectors as well as your special character selectors that you have to worry about. But another thing that you can do is actually do character groupings. So we can get all of the characters inside of a group. So for example, let's say that we wanted to get any single word that ends in AT, and we wanted to get a 3-letter word that ends in AT, and we wanted to get only the words that start with either F or C. What we could do here is inside of square brackets, we put any characters that we want to match, and it's saying match any of the characters inside of here. For example, it's going to match anything that starts with F or a C and ends with an AT. But the really useful thing about these character sets is you can actually do ranges. So we could, for example, do A to Z, and this is going to be all of the characters between A and Z. We could also do between capital A and capital Z, and now we have all of the characters between A and Z that are lowercase, and all the characters between A and Z that are uppercase that are going to be checked inside this regular expression. We could do the same thing, for example, with 0 to 9 if we wanted to. It's really useful because we can do these large ranges, which allow us to do these really specific checks. For example, we could do like A to F, and it's going to get anything between A and F, or we could do A to C, and we're just going to get cat now in that case. Something else that's really useful is the ability to put things inside of a group, and that's what we use parentheses for. anything inside of the parentheses are going to be their own group and they only act upon themselves. So for example, we could search for T or uppercase T, uppercase T. And what this does, this little pipe character here, is it's saying match any of these. So it's like an or result. It's saying either lowercase t or uppercase t. And then we want to match HE afterwards. So this allows us to match uppercase T or lowercase t, and it's going to allow us to match it for the word the. And the reason we need parentheses is because if we remove these parentheses, this character here is going to check for either lowercase t or the entire word the, because it's going upon the thing on the left and the thing on the right. But with the parentheses, we can actually break this up into its own group. So now it's only acting upon the T and the uppercase T instead of the full word the. Also, something that's really useful with these groups is we can actually do some things such as our matchers, where we could say we want to match, for example, 2 to 3, and it's going to say we want to match 2 to 3 of this character grouping here, so either lowercase t or uppercase t. And so we can actually see this in effect by doing, if we want T, E, and R, you can see it's going to match between 2 and 3 of these. Let's just say we want to match between 2 and 3 of those, and you can see it's matching over here, TRE, because it's in this group, there's at least 3 of these, and then ET, because there's 2 of them. And then, for example, we could even put things after this. For example, we want to match the period key, and you can see it's giving us the EET period at the end, because it's checking between 2 and 3 of these characters up here in the beginning, and then it's saying the actual period key is coming after it. So with these capture groupings, what we can do is we can actually specifically say we want to do special things only to those groupings, so anything that we put after these groupings are going to affect the entire grouping and not just a single character inside of that grouping as we were doing before. Because, for example, if we remove all of this, we just change this to, for example, E of 2 to 3, what this is doing is only acting upon this E. And if we put, for example, an R in here, it's not acting upon this R at all. This R is completely separate from the E, but if we were to put it inside of a group like this, now what this is saying is any set of RE that is seen in a row 2 to 3 times. So for example, if we put RE, RE, you can see that's going to match it. If we put another one, it'll match it, but of course the fourth one will not. Now another special character, which is really important to get used to, is the caret symbol, which essentially says match the beginning of the line. So for example, we put the T here, it's going to match the beginning of our statement, but if we put a capital I and the caret symbol, you can see that it's not working. And that's because we are doing this as one whole chunk of text. So this caret is the very beginning of our entire chunk. If we wanted to do it per each individual line, we would need to set the multi-line flag. And now that's saying that this caret symbol is the beginning of each and every line that we have instead of just the beginning of the actual statement as a whole. I'm going to turn that back off just so that we know that this is going to be the very beginning of our entire statement. So for example, our T is going to match this T here. And we could put, for example, the, and it's going to match that whole word the, but only going to match the at the very beginning. Even if we made it so that it could be a lowercase t by doing this, so it could be either an uppercase T or a lowercase t, you can see it's still not matching, but if we remove this, you can see now it matches both of those. Another thing that you can do is the $sign symbol, and what this is saying is match the end of our statement. So for example, at the end, we have a period, and you can see it's matching this period here. But of course, it's not matching the period at the end of street because we would need to enable multi-line, so that way this works on the end of the line instead of the end of our entire statement. But again, I'm going to turn that off just because I think it's easier to work with when you use a whole statement instead of multi-line, at least for our examples. Now that is essentially 90% of all of the regular expression stuff that you're ever going to use. You're really only going to use these generic-ish matchers as well as capture groups in order to make these complex selectors. But something that you can use that really increases the ability of you using regular expressions is look aheads and look behinds. And to get started, I'm going to talk about a look behind first, and we're going to talk about the positive look behind. And the way that you use a positive look behind is you need to put it inside of a group, and this group is going to start with a question mark, as well as the less than sign, and then the equal. So this is saying that we want to look behind us, that's what this less than sign is, and then the equal is saying it's positive, so it must match what's inside of here. So for example, what if we want to get every single word that is followed by the word the? We can come in here and we can say that we want to match either a T or an uppercase T, and we want to match HE. And we can just say we want the very first character that's followed by the word the, so we'll just put a period here, and you can see we're getting both of the spaces that are followed by the, but we're not actually getting the word the inside of our selection. As you can see, it's only the period. And that's the value of these look aheads and look behinds, is they allow you to look at things that either happen before or after the thing you want to capture, but it doesn't actually capture or select the thing that you're looking behind or looking ahead for. And that's super useful, and I really like that about these. So we can say that we want something followed by the word the, but we don't need to select the word the. Also, there's the negative look behind, and this is going to be replacing this equals with an exclamation point, and this is saying that we want to get anything that doesn't have the word the before it. So you can see it matches every single character except for the 2 spaces that had the word the before it. And the negative look behind is pretty much identical to the look behind that's positive, except for it's just going to invert it, so your results are going to be completely inverted from the results of the positive look behind. Now we can move on to the look ahead, and look ahead is very similar to look behind, but we just remove the less than symbol. So let's come in here and we can do a look ahead that's positive first, and we want to say that we want to get anything that has an AT after it. So we want to get any character that's followed by AT. And as you can see, we get F, C, and E because these are both followed by the characters A and T. And if we wanted to invert that, we just change this equals to an exclamation. And as you can see, we're now getting everything that's not followed by AT, so everything but the F, C, and the E. Now that we understand all of the basics of regular expressions, let's actually look into implementing a regular expression to check for a phone number. This is a great example because it can be really simple, but as you start to add different types of formatting to your phone number, it can get really complex and allow you to build on your regular expression skills as you go. So let's come in here, replace all this with just a random phone number. We'll just say 123 456 7890. So we have our area code of 3 digits and 3 more digits and then our last 4 digits. This is going to be the easiest phone number to check for because all we need to do is just check for 9 characters in a row. So we can just say /d, which is going to be for digits. This is any form of number digit. And we can just say that we want to get 9 of them in a row. I'm sorry, we need to make sure we get 10 of them in a row because this is a 10-digit number. And as you can see, that's matching that perfectly. But obviously, there's multiple different types of phone numbers that we can search for. For example, we could have the phone number 123 456 7890, and we also need to be able to account for that. And now I'm going to enable multi-line here because now we can actually search each one of these lines individually to make sure that they all still work. So now instead of just being able to check for 10 characters in a row, we need to check for groupings. So the first thing we're going to have is a set of 3 characters in a row for our digit, and then we're going to have a dash, but we want to make sure that dash is optional, so we put the question mark. Next, we're going to have another 3 digits in a row, so we're just going to come in here, say the D, and we're going to have 3 more in a row, and again, an optional dash, so we'll put dash with the question mark to say that it's optional. And then lastly, we're going to do the same thing. We want to have our digits, and we want to have 4 of them this time instead of 3. And there you go, we now have matched both of these different types of phone numbers. Now obviously, another way for someone to write this phone number would be 123 space 456 space 7890. This is also common, so we again need to account for that. We can come in here and essentially put this inside of a character grouping, and we can just put our space inside of it. So now we're saying any form of space between these. We could just do the same thing here. We want to use space or dash, and now you can see we've matched both of these, which is great. Now before we get too carried away, let's say that the end result is that we want to take any phone number that we're given and convert it to just 10 numbers in a row with no spaces, no dashes, no parentheses. What we're going to need to do is we need to capture all of our digits. So we can again use capture groups for that. If you remember, when we put things inside of parentheses, it's actually going to capture those. So we can put all of our digit segments inside of parentheses here. And now if we come down over into the details section, you can see that it shows all of our different matches. And you can see that we have matches of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, as well as the different groups. And if we select here, you can see it's the exact same thing. It's matching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And again, same thing right here. When we click on these different results, it's showing what it's matching for each one of those. So we know that we're matching those correct groups. And we can come into replace, for example. And what we can do is we can say that we want to take group number 1, so $1, $2, and $3. That's saying take group 1, group 2, and group 3, and just put them one after another. And this is what happens when you don't name your groups. But you can actually name your groups by putting a question mark as well as the less than and the greater than symbol, and then inside of here you put your name. So for example, we can call this area code. Then we can come and look inside of our details section, and you can see our area code is set to 123. We can also name these other groups if we really wanted to, but it doesn't really matter. Naming them is more for convenience of use when you're actually going for find and replace and doing other complex things like that. Now let's go on and look at another example where we have 1, 2, 3, and then it's going to be followed by 4, 5, 6, and then a hyphen and 7, 8, 9, 0. So now we need to account for parentheses around the area code, which again are going to be optional. So we can come in here, put a parenthesis, and we need to make sure that we do the backslash before it because this is a special character. So we have optionally 1 parenthesis opening at the beginning, and then here we're going to have optionally 1 closing parenthesis just like this. And now you can see that it's working. And if we look down here, our area code 1, 2, 3, we got 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 0. Now, one other thing to account for is if you have international numbers, you're going to have, for example, a +1 at the beginning of the number. So we can have +1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. This is another valid number that we need to make sure we account for. So what we can do is we want to check specifically for the characters of plus and 1. And again, plus is a special character, so we need to make sure we escape it. And now we're saying the character +1 at the beginning, as well as we can have an optional space, or we can have here a hyphen, just like that. And we want to make sure that this is optional. Now you will notice down here at the bottom, our +1 also contains the space at the end, and we don't want that space. So we can put another grouping that wraps just around the +1 section. And now we can have our grouping that's just the +1, but we also have the grouping for the +1 with the space. So in order to tell regular expression to not actually check for something with a group, we put $:, at the beginning of our grouping, and this is going to be a non-capturing group. So now you can see that that +1 with the space is no longer being captured. And now if we go into our place, we can come in here. We have 4 capturing groups now, so we can make sure we capture group 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as you can see, it's printing out all of our numbers exactly like we want them. And that's all there is to regular expressions. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other videos linked over here and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.
stole my love, but I forgive you. I give into you. You stole my love, but I forgive you. I
Oh, hi. I'm learning regular expression. I'm trying to verify a correct email address. Okay. This one, yes. Yes. Ah ouais, je parle français-anglais. Bon, là maintenant, je suis en train d'essayer de... Yes, I know. I'm trying to understand how it's functioning. That's my main objective. I'm not trying to understand to verify a valid email address. I'm trying to understand how regular expression are functioning. So the best way to understand it is to do a practical test. And my practical test was verifying an email address, but I will not too much like. But I think I can think this something like that. Just that this test is not working, but when I remove this, it's working. Okay, like invalid email address, all correct, valid, like partially correct. Okay, I think it's okay for me. Bon, bon, moi je veux arrêter là. Ouais, c'est ça. J'ai quand même compris comment tout fonctionne, mais c'est vrai que c'est recréer ça complet sur son site, ça serait très long. Bon, ce que je vais faire, je vais sauvegarder ça. Et je pense que je vais arrêter là aujourd'hui. Bon, j'ai quand même compris beaucoup de trucs sur ça, sérieusement. Ah, c'est quand même intéressant. Bon, moi je suis. J'arrête, j'arrête là. On se dit à très bientôt parce que c'était ça mon objectif aujourd'hui. C'était juste de comprendre comment je pourrais valider un mail correctement. Donc c'était juste ça en faisant des exercices. C'est vrai, moi j'ignorais un peu tout ça. Je pense si je veux appliquer tout ça, je pense Je vais venir ça sur... Je pense que je vais mettre ça ici. Parce que c'est ça qui capture. Bon, on fait un test. Explain. Replace this. Test, voilà. Parce que c'est ça. C'est le groupe C qui fait un test. Bon, si je viens ici, le groupe C, c'est ça qui fait le test de tous les caractères spéciaux. Donc, ça veut dire que si je viens ici, je prends ça. Je mets ici, ça va aussi vérifier. Mais là, j'ai vu l'importance et tout. Donc, je pense pour l'instant, c'est déjà ça. Ok, bon, c'est ça qui me pose problème. Pourquoi ici ça ne fonctionne pas? Pourtant, j'ai mis ici, c'est optionnel. Ça peut donner, en même temps, ça ne peut pas donner. Ça parce que ça là est net à la fin. Parce que si je fais test, après je fais ça, ça va pas donner. Oui, parce que. Ok, donc. Si j'enlève ça, ça va donner. Ah bon. Ok, c'est le plus ça, c'est ça qui ne veut pas donner le plus si. Mais bon, j'arrête comme ça aujourd'hui. Ok. Stage, c'est vraiment un sujet intéressant, mais c'est énervant. Oh, merci. On se dit à la prochaine.